Hello and welcome to Round 9 of Grand Prix Boston Worcester. I'm Ben Swartz, joined here in the booth by Ray Punzlan.
Hello, everybody.
And we have a bubble match for you. On the left side of your screen, we've got Bos Souza from Brazil, and on the right-hand side of your screen, we've got Reed Duke, Magic Online Player of the Year. Both these players are sitting at 6 wins and 2 losses. Juliano. Both these players are coming into this round with 6 wins and 2 losses. The winner will be able to progress to the 10th round of Swiss today and the 2 drafts tomorrow. The loser will have to go home with nothing more than a story.
Reed, like we've been mentioning, is going to be one of the players represented in the Players' Championship next week, which coverage starts on Wednesday.
Yep, and a star-studded 16 players are playing in that championship. Reed, one of them, of course, as I mentioned before, he qualified by winning the Magic Online Player of the Year award at Worlds last year in San Francisco. He defeated, if I recall correctly, David Kaplan in the finals.
Okay, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, that sounds right.
Pretty sure. Memory serves. So
Juliano also was representing Brazil in the World Magic Cup last week at Gen Con. Briefly, we mentioned that a little bit earlier. It looks like...
But yeah, we saw a number of people make that transition from the World Magic Cup teams over to playing in this event this weekend, and some of them even move on. Some of them, like Su Qingguo, who is in the Chinese Taipei winning team, move on to the Players' Championship this upcoming week. Juliano, as we said before, was representing Brazil. That one was headed by none other than Paulo Vitor Damo da Rosa, who will also be in the Players' Championship this upcoming week. So it looks like Juliano is considering his hand. Is there a reason why they're waiting? I'm not quite sure. Maybe we'll get a report from the floor.
Yeah, we'll figure out exactly why they're waiting right now.
Maybe they're waiting for our call.
Oh, the round just hasn't officially started.
Wow, okay. That's one reason. It's usually not the reason because...
Yeah. So we'll get underway just a bit. So Juliano on the left is on a blue-white list. Reed on the right is going to be on a blue-black list. Reed has some nice removal to go along with many of the common blue-black creatures you expect there.
The head judge calls for the start of the round, and play has begun here. Both players play land go on their first turn. See if Reed has a turn 2 play. Yep, looks like he'll go ahead and play Fogbank.
Fogbank, a card I always hate to see across from me.
Yeah, it's really annoying to play against. Arctic Haven on Juliano's side will be blocked consistently by Fogbank for the next couple turns. And Juliano will be unable to gain life from a lifelink even if you were to activate Arctic Haven, because Fogbank will prevent the damage. So Reed Duke mulling over his options.
Does have the swamp.
Windrake.
So Arctic Haven with the bonus of having a planes in play becomes a 3/2 flyer with the ability to get lifelink. Sarah Avenger.
For Juliano.
Looks like Juliano's deck's a nice little blue-white skies look.
Mind Rot for Reed is going to force Juliano to discard 2 cards. Which ones does he choose?
It looks like an island and the tap card, Downpour, right? I believe that's Downpour.
Yeah, it is Downpour. He's main decking Downpour. That's an interesting card we haven't seen too much of today, or in sort of the M13 limited format. Reed Duke follows up the Mind Rot with a Chronometon. Now that guy will have time, because of the Fog Bank, to grow very, very large. Every turn he can tap, put a +1/+1 counter on himself. The Fog Bank will keep Juliano's flyers at bay, and Reed Duke looks in a good position. Juliano missing his 5th land drop, not having a play, is a cause for concern.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be that he's representing Divine Verdict, but
if Reed doesn't have a good attack anyways.
Exactly. There's no reason if he had a card that he wouldn't have played at Juliano, that is. So Scroll Thief for Reed Duke, and he passes the turn back. Both players missed their 5th land drop.
Reed had his 5th land drop.
Oh,
there. Yeah,
sorry. I missed it because his hand was covered.
Here's Sleep. So load up Chronometon, and Juliano will try to get some damage there.
Yep, 5 this turn, 5 next turn. Drop Reed maybe to 10 life.
Right, skip the untap phase there. And Reed does have plenty of removal in his deck with 2 Acid Drain, 2 Murders.
Reed's going to tap all 5 lands and cast Essence Drain on the Arctic Haven, making Juliano's sleep look a little less threatening. Juliano does have an Archaeomancer to buy back sleep another turn if he so chooses. And I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to do. It's either that or a Ring of Evos Isle, but he's going to quickly attack Reed Duke for 3, putting him down to 14. Archaeomancer back sleep, probably. I mean, still not lethal. It would have been lethal previously, but...
So I guess a combination of sleep and downpour could help Juliano close out games rather quickly.
Yeah, with that Archaeomancer to be able to buy them back. Yeah. Juliano gets back sleep.
Yeah, Reed does a quick double check Juliano's graveyard there. So Scroll Thief won't be able to do much. Windrake can't attack through. So Reed's just looking to develop his board a little more.
Archaeomancer for Reed buys back the Essence Drain. And Reed's going to remember to use the Chronometon before he goes to his turn by placing a die on the top of his library.
But with Ring of Evos Isle, he'll be able to protect the Sarah Avenger from the Essence Drain.
Sure. Will not, unfortunately, be able to grow. But that makes much more sense to give it hexproof to make sure that that Essence Drain doesn't take out Juliano's other flyer. Otherwise, Reed Duke can get in with his flyer, his Windrake, and start dealing some good damage. So Reed Duke thinking about his options here. He's got 5 creatures in play.
And I think we're going to see why Chronometon is such a great card. When your board state gets stalled like this, it just allows you to keep it growing and growing until
it's bigger
than anything else and start fighting right through.
Reed Duke taps 2 lands, casts Ravenous Rats, forcing Juliano to discard one of his 2 cards, one of which is Sleep, we know. I'm not sure what the other card is, but looks like it's close enough that he's considering between the 2.
Juliano not sure what he wants to do here.
What does Juliano discard?
How many cards? 3.
I'm more curious what that other card is. Because if he discards Sleep, it's gotta mean that the other card's clearly not a land, but something good. Looks like he'll discard Talrand.
Ooh.
Sky Summoner.
Alright, so
that
Talrand.
Ravenous Rats was actually pretty impactful. So Chronometon will get in, deal Juliano 3 damage, dropping him to 20, and a JMD Tome for Reed Duke. JMD Tome originally from Alpha. If I recall correctly, its initials. Its name is based off the initials of one of the first designers of the Magic set.
Originally a rare back then?
Yeah, now it's an uncommon. It's funny because JMD Tome was one of those cards that people claimed it used to try to explain card advantage and card disadvantage. Saying, you play it, it takes a whole turn to activate, it's not so great. People look down upon it. But now that it's uncommon, it's in this format, a lot of people really, really like it. Especially in these controlling decks with Fog Bank and the like.
Now Juliano just played Intrepid Hero.
So that's going to
halt the Chronometon from growing.
Yeah, if it grows one more, that Intrepid Hero is going to be able to tap and destroy that creature because it's got 4 power. If Chronometon gets activated again, it gets another +1/+1 counter.
I feel like if you're Juliano, you may have considered letting Reed grow it one more turn.
Maybe.
Unless you believe that Reed was not going to grow it regardless. So Juliano now drew an island for his turn. He still has a Sleep in his hand.
He'll pass the turn back.
He's leaving the ring of Evo's Isle because you remember the Essence Drain that was returned by Reed earlier in the game. In case you just joined us, instead of trying to grow his Archaeomancer.
I mean, it seems like he'll need that in order to win. Reed attacks him with his Chronometon. Juliano didn't want to block the previous time, so I can't imagine he wants to block this time. Dropping Juliano down to 14 life.
He's in a pretty good position now. He can just keep in drawing cards with his tome. Beat down with his Chronometon. Juliano has to find a way to effectively use his sleep at some point. To get another land for Juliano. He's not really in position to just attack through here just yet. But he's setting aside his mana like he's going to play to sleep. Nope.
Doesn't seem to make too much sense to play the sleep here. Better to hold off for a sunnier day.
Tome picks up a card for Reed end of turn.
Reed sort of burying Juliano in card advantage here because of that JMD Tome, the Mind Rot, the Ravenous Rats. Scroll Thief never got in for a card, but...
See if Reed has any way to expand his board.
This is never fly Montreal. Shoot or win him good. We might draft.
So what we got here?
3 mana.
Of the Harbor Bandits.
That is the 2/2 that becomes a 3/3 as long as you control an island and can become unblockable.
For the cost of blue and a colorless, and Juliano will just scoop it all right there. Reed's going to go ahead and take game one. He's one game away from locking up a day 2 appearance.
There you get a good look at Reed Duke, the reigning Magic Online Player of the Year. In the booth again, of course, is myself, Ben Schwartz. You can follow me on Twitter at @the_BenSW, and Ray Punslon, who you can find on Twitter at RayDoesStud.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, follow us at GG's Live, and follow at Magic Pro Tour as well. Get all the tweets about this weekend there. We'll be tweeting all weekend, let you know when we're streaming, in case you are not paying attention in between rounds. But of course, I know you guys would never leave us.
Yeah, of course not.
Well, Juliano's deck looked really strong there. He started off quick. Yeah, the Arctic Aven, the ideal card you want when you're in blue-white.
I think what was big was that Reed had that Essence Drain. Otherwise, Juliano had sort of a kill on board, right? I mean, sure, Reed has a lot of removal in your deck, and when you're playing against, in his deck rather, and when you're playing against blue-black deck, you gotta imagine that they have removal, but Juliano could have dealt 5 damage, after sleeping dealt 6 damage, 6 damage, Archaeomancer sleep again, 6 damage, 6 damage, which would have been enough, obviously, to take out Reed, but that small Essence Tray was enough to push Juliano back and give Reed the time he needed to sort of bury Juliano in card advantage, as we saw. Looks like Juliano is de-sleeving.
Yeah, making a major change here. All his white cards are getting removed.
Looks like he's bringing in some black.
Yeah, it looked like it was a black suite of cards now. Juliano means business here.
Yeah, looks like we'll have a blue-black mirror match. You can see former world champion Carlos Romão in the background there, talking to a fellow Brazilian player, Willie Edel.
It's common to see both of those players on the American Grand Prix.
I believe they run a card shop in Brazil together. So
come here, play a little Magic, trade some cards.
Yep. I see Matt Costa, another player in who almost made the Players' Championship, walking about. Unfortunately, did not make day 2 here, but he's watching his best friend, Jason Ford, battle for a spot at being 7-1 going into the 10th round here. Jason Ford sporting, as we saw earlier, when he played against Cedric Phillips, his awesome mohawk.
So I wonder what kind of cards Juliano will bring down. We have his list of the cards that he registered in there. So if he was bringing in black, like I think we saw, we're looking at, let's see. Did you notice if it was black? I see Essence Drain here, Harbor Bandit.
I thought it was black.
Public execution.
I could have not seen correctly.
Tormented Soul, Ravenous Rats, Available in Ghoul, Vile Rebirth, Walking Corpse, Zombie Goliath, and 3 Dark Favors is all I really see in his black here. But his white looks a little better than that. Things like we saw the Sarah Avenger to Pacifism, turning on his Arctic Aven.
Other people with one loss that I can see from our booth include Shota Yasuoka. Maybe Shota only has no losses, but I believe he has one loss. As I said earlier, Jason Ford, Ian Bartolome, Jackie Lee are all players with one loss or better battling. So they're guaranteed that they're going to be able to play the 10th round of Seal today and be able to draft tomorrow. They're looking to pad their record, make for an easy transition into tomorrow and hopefully convert it into a top 8. I know Ian is a friend of mine. He lives in Northern California. He's really hoping to play in Pro Tour Return from Ravnica. He played a lot of PTQs. He went to a bunch of Grand Prix and came up just a little short. This is his last chance to qualify for Pro Tour Return to Ravnica. But he's also started writing a weekly column, and he's really getting into playing Magic week in, week out.
Trying to bring his game to the next level and find his breakthrough moment. So both players present their decks. They're going to be off the game too. Again, both of these players are on the bubble, sitting with 2 losses each. Only one of them will be able to play the bonus round today along with drafting tomorrow. Juliano's hand looked like it was all right with Welkin Turn, Essence Drain, and there was a Mountain in there as well.
Oh, so he looks like he boarded into red, boarded out as white.
So Searing Spear, Turn to Slag, Volcanic Geyser.
Looks like a Void Stalker.
I swear I saw a Swamp. Maybe I was just seeing things.
I thought I saw a Swamp too.
So there's Fogbank. I mean, if he did bring in a Swamp, he could be splashing his Essence Drain and Public Execution.
Okay. But maybe it's just red. We missed Flames of the Firebrand's going to deal 2 and 1 to Fogbank and Void Stalker. Take them both out. Fogbank's ability, which says combat damage dealt to and by Fogbank, gets prevented. It's just combat damage. So Flames of the Firebrand is able to take it out, get a 2-for-1 for Juliano, and Juliano's able to get in for 2 with his Welkin Turn, dropping Reed Duke down to 18 life.
Let's see what kind of action Reed Duke has to follow up.
Reed Duke is missing out on his black cards. He has no Swamp, so he's unable to cast them.
It just completely whiffs on his 4th land drive, it looks like. There's Welkin Turn coming in for 2. There's a Dragon Soul Summon. So he did bring in the
red and black.
Some black. And I'm assuming we were right in thinking it's probably the Essence Drain and the Public Execution, or at least one of them.
Sure.
So another island for Reed. This is not looking good here.
Chronometon for Juliano. He's going to continue to get in with that Welkin Turn, turn it sideways. And Juliano goes ahead and post-combat casts Arctic Aven. This time it's not as impressive as it was in last game. Simply a 2-1, but...
Flyer's a flyer?
Yeah.
5 mana here. There's a potential, maybe a Fairy Invaders by Reed. Not 100% sure if it's in his hand, but...
Juliano's going to serve with the team. And Reed Duke does have the Fairy Invaders, like you said, Ray, but that's going to get Essence Scattered by Juliano. So Reed's going to have to go ahead and take 2, 4, 6 damage, dropping him down to 8. Post-combat play Toweran, Sky Summoner. Imagine if you played that pre-combat, he would have a 2-2 Drake token at this point. But
either way, Reed is looking at lethal right now.
Yeah, and with only 5 islands, I don't see how he gets out of this. Maybe a sleep into, I don't know.
Yeah, Juliano, the big card, of course, was the Flames of the Firebrand that helped him.
Reed found a Swamp. What does he have? Rise from the Grave for Fairy Invaders? I don't think that's going to be quite enough.
Be able to play a little defense, but if Juliano suicides a guy into the Invaders, he'll still could win easily next turn.
I mean, if he attacks with all of his guys, he puts Reed down to 2 life.
Couldn't tell the spells, but Juliano has 2 spells in hand, so
he's going to be able to net a couple Drakes. Yeah, if Juliano can play that Tolerant pre-combat, I mean, it would have been a big red flag, but he would have Reed Duke dead on this.
Yeah, Reed had no option but to play his Fairy Invaders.
Right.
So, I mean, granted, Reed could have foresaw that and play Invaders in response to Talrand.
Sure.
And Juliano probably...
It's one of those things that you're in trouble either way.
Yeah.
Juliano plays Rumjig Goblin and is trying to decide on his attacks. Is he going to serve with everybody? Let's see. Looks that way. Attack with the team. Reed Duke going to block the Talrand. Take 6, drop to 2.
Reed's going to need something big here. I'm not sure what exactly.
Does he have a public execution? That will buy him another turn.
Reed does not have a public execution.
Okay.
He has Essence Drain. Will that be enough?
Oh, in Crust?
And then he has Murder as well.
Okay.
So is that... Yeah, he could Murder a 2-2 and then go down to 1 if Rummaging Goblin comes in.
Juliano will attack with all the things that can attack. Reed will likely block the Arctic Haven with the Fairy Invaders.
And then most likely has a Murder right now for the Welkin turn.
Yep. I mean, he has to or else he's done for, but looks like an Essence Drain, yeah. Will go to the face, and Juliano will even things up at 1 game apiece. There you get a good look at Juliano and his country mates and Carlos Romao and Willie Edel cheering him on from the sidelines.
You can't have a more exciting bubble match right here. We're going to Game 3. 2 great players with pretty good resumes. Juliano coming off the
Brazilian World Magic Cup team.
And then, of course, Reed Duke has a player championship next week because he is the Magic Online champion. Looks like Reed's going to make some adjustments now, seeing what Juliano decided to do for the second game.
But maybe Juliano's going to make it a second adjustment of his own. This little sub game in the sideboard is always interesting to watch between the two players. You know, oh, you board in black and red. Well, I've got these cards that are good against black and red. Well, I know you're boarding in these cards that are good against black and red, so I'm going to board out these cards that are maybe black and red. And I remember learning this lesson firsthand, or not firsthand, but first watching the finals of Pro Tour Philadelphia back in the day. It was Kenji Samura playing against Gadiel Slifer in the Gifts Ungiven mirror in Kamigawa block. And Gadiel Slifer took his entire sideboard, the 15 cards, and just shuffled it in with his library to give Kenji Samura no clue on how he was sideboarding. And it worked out. It paid off. Game 2, Kenji Samura boarded in Cranial Extraction, which is name a card, target player searches through their hand, library, graveyard, and removes them all. Kenji goes, turn 4, Cranial Extraction, you, Gadiel, naming Cranial Extraction, and Gadiel's like, take a look, there's none left in here. Kenji thought it was the most important card in the mirror, and Gadiel completely tricked him.
That's pretty great. Now, I saw Juliano, he brought in 3 cards. It was a Rewind, a Harbor Serpent, and I forgot the third card right there, but it looks like he took out a Fire Elemental along with 2 other cards.
Sure. Fire Elemental doesn't seem that great. I've been not impressed with Fire Elemental.
It's a guy, you know, if you need a body, it's a fine body.
There's so many better utility guys. I mean, like, a great vanilla creature, I know I was talking about this with Max McCall, is Centaur Courser.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 mana for 3/3, it's really efficient. It gets through all the smaller guys. Fire Elemental is sort of off curve, it costs a little too much.
Yeah.
People have been a little less happy with it. I mean, also in red, it's a little bit not where you want to be when you're playing red.
You play it if you have to.
Yeah. But it looks like Juliano here is going to take it out of his deck and replace it with Harbor Serpent.
Yeah, and he also put in a Rewind in there. I didn't see what he took out for that. But in Game 3 we go. This time around, it'll be Reed's choice. Looks like the players have been choosing to play. Oh, I remember the other card I saw in Juliano bringing, Wild Guess. Okay. So Wild Guess, Rewind, and the Harbor Serpent.
Seeing if both players are going to keep their hands or if one of them will mulligan. Both of them will mulligan. Looks like Reed's the one thinking about it. And Juliano will start things off with a Chronometon on turn 1.
Does it get better than that?
Well, Reduke is able to mirror it with a Chronometon of his own. So let's see if they'll grow in tandem. Yep, so Juliano grows his Chronometon. Reed passes the turn. Looks like he'll also grow his Chronometon.
Draws the Harbor Serpent he sided in. He doesn't have the third land, but he's sitting on the Essence Scatter.
This one's going to need the 20-sider.
So let's see if Reed has his third land. It'd be interesting. They both are both stuck in the same situation.
Yeah. Looks like Reed does not have his third land.
And I think Reed is just keeping growing his Chronometon as long as Juliano's growing his Chronometon.
Looks like Reed did find his third land, plays a Void Stalker. So Reed can use it to get rid of the Chronometon if Chronometon gets out of hand and starts attacking with his own Chronometon.
Yeah, Juliano picked up his third land. I know he has, it looked like he had a Flames of Firebrand in his hand. Also has a Divination there.
Chronometon's going to attack in for Juliano.
Coming in for 3.
Reduke takes it, drops to 17.
Probably a Flames of Firebrand now. Or is it going to be the Divination? Or there's... Oh, he has a couple options. He has Divination, Rummaging Goblin, and Flames of Firebrand as his choices.
Flames of Firebrand might be good to clear that Void Stalker, but he's going to cast Divination, draw 2. Now, if you're Reduke here, do you fire off that Void Stalker immediately, or depends whether or not he has the 4th land, right?
Yeah. He does the 4th land, seems a fine thing to do. Or he probably grows his Chronometon one more turn. You know, Juliano's still sitting on the Essence Scatter. He has the Harbor Serpent that he brought in, drawn earlier in this game. See what kind of choices Reed has here.
He'll play a land attack with both guys. Doesn't want to use that Void Stalker quite yet. He's fine trading points of damage back and forth. And he's got the Harbor Bandit again.
Yeah, Harbor Bandit now is going to be a 3/3.
So that was the thing that spelled the end of the game last game 1 for Reduke. It was Harbor Bandit along with the swarm of creatures that Reduke was able to summon. So Juliano finds his 3rd color, his 4th land with Swamp. Was unable to pump Chronometon last turn because he cast Divination. I mean, Reduke's unable to pump Chronometon this turn because he attacked with it.
But. Now you wonder, does Reed have another... what could he possibly have? Unsummon, maybe? I don't know if it's in Reed's list. Or he just decided that 3 was a good number to stop at.
I mean, if they're going to mirror each other, and 3 is a pretty good number to stop at. It makes Chronometon pretty aggressive. You know, Reed's dealing 7 points a turn now.
Here's 4 mana. What is Juliano going to come up with?
Talran, Sky Summoner. Passes the turn back to Reduke. Reduke almost assuredly going to attack with all his guys, right?
Yeah, he can attack with everyone.
Maybe
like
use Void Stalker to get rid of the Talran, but...
At the bare minimum, coming in with your 2 3/3s.
Yep. Reed thinking over his options.
A quick update from the floor. Sam Black is 9-0.
Wow. Sam Black, ladies and gentlemen. I think I saw Cedric Phillips. He lost his match. He looked really unhappy. But he's still into day 2 at 7-2.
Essence Drain, it looks like. And it is. I'll take on Talran, bring Reed up to 17. and hit down Juliano for 8 damage.
Oh, wow. SM strain is huge here. What does Juliano have to defend against Reduke's onslaught?
The
Flames of the
Flames?
Firebrand to take out Reduke's 3-3.
Now's the time to use Void.
Void Stalker?
Yeah, Void Stalker is the time.
Or do you hold
Or
off?
just have the murder.
Oh, wow. Murder to take out Chronometon. Attack you for 5. Put you at 2.
Now Fog Bank,
To hold things off.
putting up defenses that may be unnecessary. Now Juliano needs to find a way to stop 2 creatures, and he extends the hand. Congratulations to Reed Duke. He'll advance, winning this match 2-1, and will be able to play the bonus round today and then draft tomorrow. Juliano, still a great run today. He won't be going to the Players' Championship, but I mean, it's always disappointing when